Hi, this is Julian from Arcee. In this video, I'm going to use Arcee Orchestra to build a code review workflow. We're going to ask a couple of models to improve our code, and we're going to generate a report and store it in Google Docs. Okay, first, let's look at the workflow. As usual, we have a start node with two parameters. One is called code input. It's a text box that obviously includes the code we want to review. And the second parameter is called document name, also text, of course. And this is the name of the file we're going to create in Google Docs. Okay, very simple. After the start node, we have two model nodes. And we can see here they are running in parallel, which is great for response time and efficiency. The first node is called model code Pythonic. And if we open it, we can see that we are passing the code to be reviewed, and we're asking the model to give us tips to make this code as Pythonic as possible. And here I decided to use Virtuoso Small. Why not? But we could use other models for this. The second node is called Model Code Security. And as you can guess, this time we're going to ask the model to identify any security issue in the code we passed. And of course, suggest remediations. Those two nodes then go into a third model node, which is called Model Summary. So Model Summary is the node where we're going to take the original code, the Pythonic improvements, the security improvements, and we're going to generate a document summarizing all the improvements that we can do here. Okay, so pretty simple prompt, and you could tweak it very easily. And we have the three inputs as mentioned. Okay, the two from the Pythonic review, security review, and as well as the code input from the start node. That obviously gets propagated all the way. Okay, so the output of this node will be hopefully a nice document explaining how we can make the code better. And then the summary goes into the create Google Doc node, which is an integration node. Let's open it. And here, all we did is basically connect to our Google accounts, enter the name of the document to create, which comes from the start node, remember? And then we just add to the document the summary that we generated from the previous model node. And that integration lets you create a plain document or a markdown document. And as the model here loves to output markdown, I thought, hey, let's use the markdown text integration. All right, and then we're done, and we just go to the end node. Let's run the workflow manually, and then we'll run it through the chat, okay? So let me open this panel here, go to run, and I have a bit of Python code here, which is using stub process to install packages. I'm sure a lot of things are wrong with this code. And this is the name of the document I'm going to create in Google Docs. Okay, so let's just run this. The workflow completed successfully, and we can see the output here. So let's check if we have the doc in Google. Opening my Google Docs, I can see the doc with the right title, the one I passed in the start node, and I see the doc following the structure I requested in the prompt. So the original code, the Pythonic improvements, an explanation for all of that, the security improvements, etc., etc. So pretty cool, right? Okay, now let's do the same and trigger the workflow in the chat. Now we're in the chat window, and of course the first thing we need to check is that the workflow is enabled. Now it is, and now we can prompt. Okay, so let's just say improve following code and save the report as my chat review in Google Docs. That should be good, right? And here's the code. And it doesn't really matter what this code is doing. It's just a bunch of Python code. Okay, let's run it. I was able to trigger the workflow successfully, and we can see the answer here. So we get a summary of the improvements. We get the final version, etc., etc. Okay, so that's just a summary returned by the model. Now let's take a look at Google Docs. So here's the doc in Google. Again, the doc has the right title, which is nice. And we have the right structure, the original code, the Pythonic improvements, etc., etc., key changes, and so on. Okay, that's it. Code reviews with Arcee Orchestra. Stay tuned. Many more examples coming. Bye-bye.